What's up guys, my name is Sean from Jade Productions, and you did read the title and thumbnail correctly. Red does have two new cameras out, the Red Komodo X Z mount and the Red V-Raptor X Z mount. It doesn't look like they have expanded to the V-Raptor XL. Don't really know why they would. That really is more of a production camera, so PL mount lenses are probably being used, or EF probably. However, this is a very interesting move by Red. Red has been moving in the shadows lately. If you haven't noticed that, they're just dropping the price of the Komodo randomly. They're adding new mounts to their cameras pretty randomly. Nikon has decided that they want Red to move quietly and then strike whenever they want. And it's been really cool because I haven't heard anything, no rumors about a Z mount Red coming onto the scene, and it's suddenly here, which does make you wonder, what other things are Red doing that we don't know about? Because this Z mount thing is really, really important. And it might not sound it, but Z mount is the most flexible lens mount. It has the shortest flange distance of 16 millimeters. The Sony E mount has 18. A lot of people think Sony is the smallest flange distance. It's not. People just forget about Nikon. Nikon has cameras that are $2,200 and shoot 6K RAW. We don't want to talk about that though, because who wants to talk about Nikon? But now you have to, because Nikon owns Red. And now Nikon really owns Red because they have added their Z mount into these two new cameras, which I think is a huge win. Personally, I've been shooting Nikon since 2018. I absolutely love Nikon. Nikon's great. They make really good stuff for really cheap, including their lenses. If you don't know, Nikon really does own the lens game. They put out some really, really, really phenomenal lenses and are often ahead of the pack in terms of creating new kinds of zooms and primes at different levels. I think they were the first company to release like a 85 millimeter 1.2 or something a couple years ago, and it looked beautiful and it was tack sharp. So if you are interested in buying a new Red, I would seriously consider getting the Z mount version. You're gonna get cheaper lenses, you're gonna get better lenses, and overall you're just gonna get better performance out of it. Absolutely phenomenal. I hope they keep doing this with other cameras that they release in the future. Who knows when that might be, because they really are just doing stuff kind of willy-nilly. They're kind of just moving whenever they want, dropping the price of the Red Komodo and the Red Komodo X randomly, releasing a Z mount version of these cameras randomly. I just gotta say, I like it because you never really know what Red is gonna do now. Honestly, you could wake up tomorrow morning and there could be 3 new cameras on their website, and all you might get is an email about it a day prior, if even that, which is exciting. It's nice to know that things could just pop up randomly, and you kind of gotta keep your eye out. Now on their website, they are listing the Komodo X Z mount for about $7,000. So honestly, if you want to save some money, you can hop on eBay and pick up an old Red Komodo or Red Komodo X for a whole lot cheaper than that. Whole package will run you $4,000, $5,000, or $6,000. But on the flip side of that, that V-Raptor X Z mount starts at just under $30,000. So I don't really think that matters too much. I just would go with the Z mount. Honestly, this new update is exciting for a couple of reasons. When Nikon first acquired Red, it was kind of thought that there's going to be some implementations of sensors in different cameras and color science in different cameras, hopefully bringing that high quality Red image down into the Nikon mirrorless format and keeping Red more up in that cinema range, just a little bit more of the ARRI level, and not kind of bringing Red down in quality and just moving that stuff down to the Nikon mirrorless cameras. We haven't seen that too much yet. However, I think with this move, what we are gonna see, and what was also kind of suspected of when this acquisition happened, is cinema lenses from Nikon. Now, Nikon has made cinema lenses before. This wouldn't be anything new necessarily. However, they haven't done anything in a long time. It's not a market that they really wanted to stay in, and I think that's changing. On Nikon's website, as of this morning, they have put, quote, "It marks the initial stage of integrating Nikon's rich history and powerful technology at Red's cutting-edge cinema solutions to create products designed for filmmakers and content creators operating at the highest level across the globe." That's a very interesting statement. It's kind of vague, but it gives us an idea that this is just the initial step. This is the very first, this is the start. And if this is the start, that means Nikon is really gonna push some lenses out that are meant for cinema, and I'm excited to see that happen, and I will be buying some when that happens. I would absolutely love to see Nikon release a plethora of cinema lenses for a bunch of different use cases, primes, zooms, maybe some anamorphic. If you don't know, Nikon lenses have a very anamorphic look, at least some of their older ones and some of their cheaper ones. I have a video about that. I'll throw it up there if you want to check that out. But Nikon makes some phenomenal lenses, and if you adapt them to anamorphic, they look great. If they started making anamorphic lenses, I think other lens manufacturers would be in a lot of trouble. Blazar, you better watch out. Somebody might be coming for you. Now, of course, this is all speculation. I really don't know what Nikon has in mind. However, they are making it very, very clear that on their website right here, lenses is what they are targeting. So if you have Nikon lenses, or you want to upgrade to a new setup and you were thinking about buying some Canon lenses to go with your RF Komodo, wait, I would get this. They just are better. You're gonna find that Nikon lenses handle a little bit better for cinema applications. You're gonna find that the Nikon lens stabilization is phenomenal. If you've ever used Sony or Canon's optically stabilized lenses, you're gonna love Nikon's because it's absolutely phenomenal. And if you want a little bit of that jitter-free look, now you can do that at a really high level, I would assume. I don't know that it would work on the Red. I would assume so though. It is now proprietary mounted, so I would assume that you're getting that optical stabilization. That makes sense to me. That seems to be what they're saying on their website. Again, I suppose we won't know until some tests come out. Nikon is also saying that the autofocus is supposedly better. Now, I do want to mention before we get into autofocus that other lenses other than Z-mount lenses are compatible. You can get the AI Nikkor series, which is their vintage lenses that are very popular and kind of rival the Canon FDs. You can also mount on your Nikkor F lenses, which I'm a huge fan of and I've done multiple videos on. So those, at least the Nikon F, because of the focus motors being in the lenses of anything earlier, the Nikkor F will autofocus. You will be able to control those with the FTZ adapter, which I do have and have used, and it works great, by the way. And as I'm reading this, I have already been proven wrong. Nikon released a lens today. They released the Nikkor Z28-135 f4PZ. And provides improved autofocus performance on the V-Raptor X Z-mount and Komodo X Z-mount cameras. Nikon says they will continue to pursue a new dimension in optical performance while meeting the user's needs. I find that sentence interesting. They are taking us into account. Nikon has always done a good job of taking its users into account. When people ask, Nikon does deliver, sometimes not as fast as we would want, but they do deliver. They say they will be contributing to the development of imaging culture that includes the video domain with hopes of expanding possibilities for imaging expression. Not really sure what that means. I guess we'll find out soon. Filmmakers and content creators can expect great things from this new synergy between Nikon and Red. That does tell us something. Nikon is not really planning on disbanding Red and just integrating it wholly. I think Nikon really does want to keep Red and Nikon separate. They said that it's a subsidiary, which it is, and I think they're planning on keeping it that way. I don't really think they want to wholly integrate it, which is a great thing for filmmakers. This really means prices are going to come down a whole lot, which is phenomenal. It also means access to better lenses and better technology in the next 2 to 3 years is going to have a huge boom, and I would suspect that Canon and Sony in particular better really watch out for Red. I think that they are going to be a serious problem in the next few years. Not to mention, as soon as Nikon's, honestly, their colors and their cameras are really taken up to the next notch, it might just be game over for a whole lot of creators who are getting into video and getting into cinema. It just looks like they're winning right now. It looks like they're winning. Now, they do have a Red Z to PL adapter that it looks like you can get electronic ND with. I'm not sure if this is the same old one that costs like $3 grand. We're gonna look this up real quick. So it looks like, yes, you can get electronic NDs for $3,500. This is something that Red released a long time ago and is honestly at the very bottom of Nikon's page. This doesn't really look like something they're trying to sell you. In fact, They don't even display this with the Komodo X. So if you want electronic NDs in your V Raptor, you can pay $3,500 for that, which honestly isn't that bad. I know people complained about that because it's kind of pointless on the Komodo. That's very expensive. You could buy a Komodo used for that. But for the V Raptor, this is a sensible purchase. So if you want to use PL lenses on your V Raptor with Nikon Z mount, this does exist for $3,500 and honestly would be a good pickup. Well, that's about all I have for this video at this time. More info I'm sure will be released. Stay tuned on YouTube because I'm sure people will be getting their hands on these models soon and testing them out with Nikon lenses, which I am super excited to see footage from. Please like and subscribe, and until next time.